Money in the Bank takes place this Saturday in Inglewood, California at the Intuit Dome. This is the same venue that hosted Monday Night Raw's debut on Netflix. Now, currently we only have 4 matches set for the show, and that's why I've been a little bit late to do my predictions for the show. I keep thinking they're going to add one more match. It has to happen. They might add one on SmackDown for all I know. But as of now, which is Wednesday night, we only have 4 matches for a show that's going to take place in a few days. So I'm just going to go with the assumption that's all we're getting. And if they add more, I'll just review it, but I won't have enough time to make a prediction for it. So here's what we got. As I said, Inglewood is where the show takes place. It's Los Angeles, Hollywood. Maybe we might see a Hollywood movie star. You never know. And I'm going to talk about that when we talk about our opening match. The match I'm going to talk about first, the match will probably be the main event, but there's no official listing. I'll be honest, I'm talking about this right away because I don't care about this match. I want to get it over with. This heel run sucks. I'm just going to say it is what I'm just going to call it out. This John Cena heel run sucks. Our tag match, we have John Cena and Logan Paul taking on Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso. And in this match, you have the WWE Champion John Cena on one side and the World Heavyweight Champion Jey Uso on the other. Now, Jey Uso is actually defending his World Heavyweight Championship against Gunther on Raw. So there's a decent chance we might see a Gunther appearance here. I think we'll at least see him backstage. He might not make a run-in, but, we could see him on the show. Who wins? I'm just going to go through it. I think it has to be Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso. Here's why. John Cena does not have to get pinned to lose. So right away, there's an out. Number 2, Jey Uso has a World Heavyweight Championship match the next night. I don't think it's a good idea to pin the World Heavyweight Champion right before he has a title match on Raw, even if he wins. And if he gets pinned, for sure he's beating Gunther again, which is going to really suck. Maybe that's why Gunther took off. He's on his social media. He took off all references to WWE, which was weird. Maybe he knows he's losing to that bum again, the worst World Heavyweight Champion in modern history. Jey Uso is fucking horrible. He's horrible in the ring. His matches suck. His promos are absolute dog shit. He sucks. All he is an entrance. The fans just like putting their hands up and down in the air. That's all they want to do. It's just an entrance. There's nothing to him. There's no substance behind this guy. He's a horrible promo, and he's a horrible worker. He sucks. He is the worst World Heavyweight Champion. I wish Gunther wins the title on Raw on Monday, but I don't see that happening. But as I said, it doesn't make sense to beat Jey Uso right when he's having a World Heavyweight title match the next night. It doesn't make sense at all to beat Cody Rhodes in his return. And Triple H, I think, sees Cody Rhodes as still his top guy because he's there more often. This is Cena's last year. Roman is part-time. So Cody is still going to be the guy. He's the top babyface. It doesn't make sense to pin Cody Rhodes here. You can't beat Cody in his return. And he had some problems when he was getting booed last time at WrestleMania. Now, that's it. That we have not seen him get booed anytime outside of WrestleMania weekend, and that's a different crowd from what we see all other 51 weeks of the year. So, I think you can chalk that up as just being a particular crowd, a particular incident of why he was booed. However, it does not make sense to pin him. And because of that, I don't see them losing. I think Cody and Jey are going to win. I think Logan Paul takes the pin here. And I know Logan Paul, it's not good to beat him because they just beat him at Saturday Night's Main Event. And they had him go over AJ at WrestleMania. I just think right now you can afford Cody Rhodes pinning Logan Paul. Could we see The Rock? Why do I want to mention The Rock out of nowhere? Well, look, it's Inglewood. It's Los Angeles. It's Hollywood. He appeared the last time they were in the same venue, the Intuit Dome, on Raw. I think it's extremely unlikely. I'm just saying I think if this was taking place anywhere else, I wouldn't even talk about it, but I would put it as an outside possibility. And the reason why I want to bring it up is maybe we only have 4 matches because there's going to be a big segment. The last 2 years at Money in the Bank, there were big segments. 2 years ago, in 2023 in London, John Cena came out and talked about WrestleMania going to London, which hasn't happened. Last year in Toronto, John Cena came out and announced that he's going to be retiring at the end of 2025, and that would be his farewell tour. So we've had segments the last 2 years. There's something here. It makes me think that there's going to be a big angle, that there's something that could happen at the end of the show that might surprise everyone. I don't think it'll be anything like what we saw at the end of the Elimination Chamber or anything like that, but I could see a big angle at the end, and maybe that's why we only have 4 matches. So I wanted to bring that up there, and it could involve the final boss for all we know. It's probably unlikely. I just wanted to mention it. In the chance that it actually does happen, which is a very small chance. However, I do have Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso winning. Now, we go to the Women's Intercontinental Championship. We have Lyra Valkyria defending her title against Becky Lynch in what is a last chance match. If Becky loses, she can no longer challenge for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. Who wins? I think it just has to be Becky. And there's the other step is if Becky wins, Lyra has to raise up Becky's hand. I just think Becky needs this win. She's lost twice to Lyra now. They bring that up a lot. She lost to her in NXT when she lost the NXT Women's Championship to Lyra at the end of 2023, and she lost to Lyra at a Backlash when she got pinned clean in the middle of the ring. I just think because of that, you need to have Becky get the win here. All the storyline sense makes points to Becky winning. I also believe there's a good chance that Bayley does return here. She might not return at this show, but she'll be back in time for Evolution, which is going to be a big deal. And I think they want Bayley back. And if they really want her back, it makes sense to have her feud with the woman who took her out, which is Becky. Bayley has to be feuding with Becky. I think we'll get to see that, and I think that will happen. I also think that it would hurt Becky to lose again to Lyra, unless Bayley comes and costs her the match, which I think is a possibility. I don't think it's likely, but you could have Bayley make her big return unexpectedly and cost Becky the match when it looks like Becky might steal the win and cheat, and if the ref goes down. They could do something like that. I think Bayley has to face Becky at the level Evolution, and I think there's 3 paths they can go. Number 1, it's Lyra defending her Intercontinental Championship if she retains against someone else, and Bayley and Becky in a street fight or something. And I think it makes sense to have a gimmick match at Evolution, at least one. Another possibility is Becky and Bayley for the Women's Intercontinental Championship, and Lyra works with someone else, which I think is the most likely possibility. And the third option is Lyra, Becky, and Bayley in a triple threat match for the Women's Intercontinental Championship, and maybe the champ going into that is Becky. I think that's another possibility. We could see a triple threat Evolution. So I think Becky's going to win, and I think it leads to Becky feuding with Bayley. Lyra, I'm not sure where she goes from here if she does lose. They could have a triple threat, as I mentioned, or Lyra could retain and she can work with someone else, and Becky and Bayley have their separate match at Evolution. I'm looking at it in the big picture where I think it's heading. I think my scenario that I just mentioned is the most likely, in which Becky wins and she feuds with Bayley, and Lyra probably feuds with someone else or involved in a triple threat. So I think it just makes more sense for Becky to win. So Becky's my pick. Next, we go to the Women's Money in the Bank ladder match. This is now, I believe this is the 9th consecutive Women's Money in the Bank ladder match. Actually, the 10th, because the first one was they did the rematch or something. So they had to do that rematch on SmackDown or whatever. But here's the participants. And I have to say, this is the best lineup ever for Women's Money in the Bank ladder match. And this should end up being the best Women's Money in the Bank ladder match of all time. We have Alexa Bliss, Roxanne Perez, Rhea Ripley, Giulia, Naomi, and Stephanie Vaquer, who just came on the main roster last week. And Vaquer has to do double duty because she's going to be wrestling at Worlds Collide. And she's not the only star on Money in the Bank who's doing double duty, but we'll get to that later. I'm going to rank them in terms of least likely to most likely to win, and who's number one will be my pick to win. So, the least likely. I have to pick Stephanie Vaquer, and even though she might be the most over person in this match, I think it'll come down to her, Rhea Ripley, and Alexa Bliss. I think all three of them are going to be super over here, but Stephanie, I think it just makes the least sense for her to win. I don't think she needs to win. She just came on the main roster. You want to build a long-term struggle with her getting the championship because the fans love her, and when she does win the belt, it'll be this amazing moment. So I don't think it makes sense at all for her to win, and also she has to do double duty, so you can also say that she's a little bit tired from going through a good tag team match that she's going to have at Worlds Collide. So Stephanie Vaquer, as popular as she is and how big of a fan I am of her, I don't think it really makes sense to have her win this match right now. So she is the sixth, the least likely to win. The fifth most likely to win is going to be Rhea Ripley, who will probably be the most popular woman in this match, because everywhere she goes, every time we see her, the crowd just goes apeshit for her. They go insane. They love Rhea Ripley. She's super over. No matter how many people on Twitter complain about her, she is still very over. She sells a lot of merchandise. I just don't think it makes sense for her to win, but I could see a scenario. It's very unlikely in which she does win, because you could have her hold around the Money in the Bank briefcase, and because it's Ripley, they can decorate the briefcase, they can sell merch with it. I can see a scenario like that. I just think it's very unlikely for her to win. I think there's a better chance of her winning than Stephanie Vaquer, but I don't think it makes sense for Rhea to win. However, I could see a scenario in which she does, but it's not likely at all. Number fourth most likely person to win I have is Giulia. Again, I would put her, I'd give her a better chance if she wasn't going to feud with Zelina Vega. It looks like it's going to be Zelina Vega and Giulia for the Women's Intercontinental Championship after Money in the Bank. It could be a match at Evolution. That's where it looks like she's going to be feuding, and I think she'd be a great Women's IC Champion. So I don't have a problem with that. I don't think it really makes sense for her to win. She just came on the main roster, and might be best for people to get used to her, see her win, maybe get behind her. I like that she's separate from Stephanie Vaquer, because Vaquer just completely outshined her in NXT. It's not Giulia's fault. I thought Giulia did well. She had good matches. If people really liked her at first, I just think Vaquer she's just such a star. And Giulia could end up being a big star. She might be as popular as Stephanie Vaquer one day. We never know. I just think it's better to keep her away right now, and eventually they'll have a big feud on the main roster. I didn't get to see that great feud in NXT I really wanted to see this summer. I was looking forward to it, but hopefully on the main roster we get to see it. But Giulia, I don't think I could see it, because I think she's a heel, and they could push her. They could have her hold the briefcase for a while, then have her cash in. So I think it's a possibility, just not a very strong one. Third most likely person I have is Alexa Bliss, who I believe will be super over as she is everywhere. This woman is a superstar. Everyone loves Alexa Bliss. How can you blame him? Look at her. She's the cutest woman you can ever imagine. She's incredibly attractive, very nice. People just like her. She has that charm to her that it's impossible to just teach. She just has it. It's natural. I think she could win. I'm not picking her. That's why I only have her as my third most likely winner, but I think she could win. They can have her win, and she'll be a babyface. The crowd will cheer her, and we've seen babyface Money in the Bank holders before. And it makes sense for someone like her, because she's so small that she'll cash in on someone who is just going through a match. I don't think it'll affect her. I think someone else, someone like Stephanie Vaquer cashing in might actually hurt, because people see her as this really great, babyface, and Alexa, she's really small, and her character before cashed in before, so I don't think having her cash in would be a big deal for being. I don't think it'll hurt her as a babyface. I think Alexa. The problem, the reason I don't see her winning is I think the other two are just more likely to win, and we don't really know what the long-term direction is with Alexa. And there's a good chance after she's done feuding with Charlotte, which I think that could be another Evolution match, Alexa versus Charlotte, she could go back to the Wyatt Six. So that's why I'm not as keen on picking her as one of the most likely. So I have her at third, but if she wins, I'm certainly not going to be complaining. I've always been a fan of Alexa Bliss. Second most likely is another woman I'm a big fan of, Roxanne Perez. The one who I think, if I were booking, I think she'd probably be the woman I'd pick to win. If I were booking, I'd have her win. I think Roxanne has all the tools. She's very good. Crowd is starting to get into her a bit, but right now she's feuding with Judgment Day, and that doesn't mean a lot because Damian Priest was the Money in the Bank winner and he held the briefcase while in Judgment Day, so they could still have her win the briefcase even being in Judgment Day. I just think it's less likely than the most obvious winner, who most people are picking. She's probably going to be feuding with Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez soon. She could win. I'm not saying it's completely unlikely. I just think the person who I have winning is the most likely winner based on what they're doing on TV right now and how they're building it up. So Roxanne wouldn't surprise me to see her win at all. I'd like to see her win. I just don't see it because the woman I have picking is the woman who's also the betting favorite right now. I'll be honest, I wouldn't have her win. I've never been a big fan. It's Naomi. People like this new caution gimmick. I'm not into it. I really don't see the appeal to her as much. It's just, the way they're building it up on TV, it looks like a Naomi win. So I'm just not that enthused of seeing her win the Women's Championship in 2025. Really? Why do I need to see Naomi as champion again? I'd much rather see a whole bunch of women on SmackDown hold the belt than her. I'm just not that high in her and never really have been. But, people do like her. She's doing a good job with the caution gimmick. And I think she ends up winning here. And Naomi's my pick. Now, let's go to the men's Money in the Bank ladder match, which I would have main event. I think the tag match is probably going to be the main event. But if it's up to me, I just have the men's Money in the Bank because they can have a good match. So, who's going to win? I think this one's a little bit less, actually a little bit tougher to pick than the women's because I can see a number of different winners here. So let's go the least likely to the most likely. Number 6, Andrade. Do I need to say anything else? It's cool that he's in this match. I think it would have made more sense to have Carmelo Hayes win, but I think they just want to keep him happy because they're not using him at all since he's come back. It's something for him to do. He can bump. It's fine. Him being in here is a good choice, and he can, as I said, he can do stuff. It gives him an opportunity to shine. I hope he has a good performance because it could help him in the future, but him winning, there's like a snowball chance in hell. He's not winning this match. 5th most likely winner is Penta. Again, just not going to happen. Very over. He's perfect for this match. He can take bumps. The crowd, I'm sure in LA, will like him. He has a lot of charisma. I'm looking forward to seeing him team up with his brother and reforming the Lucha Bros in WWE. I just don't think it makes sense. I don't think he needs the briefcase. I don't know if they want to have him as world champion right now. He's smaller than everyone, so that's the issue. But him in this match is good. I just don't see a victory here. I don't think it really needs that much explanation here. 4th most likely winner. Now, one of these 4 could win. I'd give Penta and Andrade a 0% chance. These next 4 guys, there's a shot. I hate putting him. He should be 6 because he's that bad. I think he's one of the worst wrestlers in the company right now. He has go away. Every segment he's in, he kills. He's awful. He's one of the worst wrestlers in the world right now. This guy sucks right now. I don't want to see him. But there's a chance they could have a win based on the storylines and how they're still positioning him for some reason. And that's Solo Sikoa. I really don't want Solo to win, but the way they set this up on SmackDown, it got me thinking there's a chance because him and JC Mateo intentionally cost Jacob Fatu his qualification match. And they're thinking, well, we have to keep Jacob out so he doesn't win Money in the Bank so Solo can win. And because Jacob they see as the biggest threat to Solo winning the briefcase, that there's a chance that it's going to set up Solo winning and then him feuding with Jacob after. There's a chance this could happen. I don't want it. I don't want to see it, but there's a chance. And I hate saying it because I think Solo is just the worst. He was a horrible heel last year. He's one of the worst wrestlers in the company. He got called up too soon, in my opinion. He wasn't ready. Never liked him. Unfortunately, there's a shot. It's less likely, but I'm going to put him at 4th. 3rd is the one that I think would get the most outrage, especially on Twitter, and that's the IWC, I think, would go crazy. That's El Grande Americano, Chad Gable. So Chad Gable is wrestling on Worlds Collide against Vikingo for the AAA Mega Championship. And the issue with that is Vikingo actually hurt Chad Gable not too long ago when he kicked him while Gable was on the top rope, and it busted Gable open. I'm thinking, If he gets hurt, there's going to be an issue. Now, they can just put someone in, and it's not a big deal. I know he didn't qualify, but they could put an emergency backup. They can do that. But having him wrestle against a guy who hurt him on the same night that he's supposed to wrestle in a big pay-per-view match or a big PLE match, it might be a mistake. I'm just saying. They have him undefeated. They're making him look like a strong competitor. They haven't beaten El Grande Americano. It's a shot. I don't think it's likely. I think there's a better chance than the other competitors, but they're positioning him in the top role. They just had to win the Money in the Bank qualifying match in the main event of Raw. They're not treating him as a jobber guy yet. I think the big thing is when they unmask him and it's Chad Gable, it'll be a big moment for the Luchadors in AAA. They can do something like that. I just think right now, there's a shot he could win. Now, I'm not sure he'll actually win the belt. I think that's less likely. But remember, it's the World Heavyweight Championship. It's not the WWE Championship that they'll probably cash in on. But I'm just putting him at third. I think he's the third most likely. Now, the two most likely winners, the one who I think is the fan favorite in this match, most people are rooting for him, that's LA Knight. Yeah, that'd be a great choice. I hope he wins. I'm rooting for LA Knight. I want to see him win. For the woman, I want to see either Alexa Bliss or Roxanne Perez win. I think that's who I'd root for. For the men, hey, I'm all for LA Knight here. I want to see him win. I think it'd be funny if Americano win, but I'd rather see like LA Knight. Great choice. I think he'll probably win the World Heavyweight Championship. I'd be happy to see him get this. You know, it's annoying that they push Jey Uso to the moon when LA Knight does everything Jey Uso does. LA Knight's a much better promo than Jey Uso. LA Knight sold a whole bunch of merchandise. He's super over with the fans. He got huge reactions. Was just as popular as he is now. He's much better in the ring, and he's not that good in the ring. That just tells you how horrible Jey Uso is in the ring. So it annoys me that they give Jey everything. I mean, maybe LA just doesn't have the family to advocate for him. Maybe he doesn't have his dad bitching on his podcast that they're not booking his son, who's the World Heavyweight Champion, who's one of the worst wrestlers in the company. Maybe he needs his dad to go complain on a stupid podcast. He needs that. Anyway, it annoys me that they reward Jey Uso, and LA Knight's better than Jey Uso is at everything. It annoys me that they rewarded Uso, and he sucks. But they could do the same for Knight. He sells a lot of merchandise. It'd be a good choice. I don't think he'll be a long-term champion, but I wouldn't mind it. I'd like to see it, actually. But I think the most likely scenario, the most likely winner, is the guy who's being pushed heavily right now, and I think he will end up being a two-time Mr. Money in the Bank, and that's Seth Rollins. I think you'll see Braun Breaker interfere. You'll see Bronson Reed interfere. You'll see CM Punk and Sami Zayn interfere against them. I think you'll see a lot of bodies. You'll see a lot of chaos on this match. You'll see total destruction on the floor. I think the most likely winner is Seth. He'll be a two-time Money in the Bank holder. I think he'll be the first one to win it twice now. Actually, no, you had Punk win it twice. You had Edge hold it twice, but he never actually won it the second time. Edge won it the first time, and then he won it from Kennedy a couple years later. And Miz won it once, and then he won it from Otis after he already won Money in the Bank. But Punk has won the actual match twice. So Seth could win the match twice here, and I think that's the most likely scenario. How they're going with everything, I think Seth's going to win this match. And Rollins will be Mr. Money in the Bank once again. I don't think he's going to cash in the main event of WrestleMania again, but I think he will win the briefcase and he will become a World Heavyweight Champion once again. So Seth Rollins is my pick. So that's my predictions. We have Money in the Bank this Saturday. Looking forward to it. The venue's awesome, by the way. The Intuit Dome is a spectacle to look at. It's an incredible arena. It's by far the best arena that WWE runs. And it looks like a stadium. It looks very similar to the SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles, especially with that structure near the ceiling, with that steel circular structure. It looks really nice, and it's a state-of-the-art arena, so I'm looking forward to that. It'll look visually great. That's what we got. That's what we got for this Saturday. Looking forward to it. I think there's going to be a segment. I think something else is going to happen that hasn't been announced yet. I don't think we're just going to get 4 matches and that's it. So that's my picks for Money in the Bank. We'll see how the show goes this Saturday.